Rachel Zegler is getting a lot of hate.
Do I think she made some mistakes along the way? I do. She made quite a few mistakes along the way.
And when she landed a big role like this and realized that this is not the character that she really wants to portray.
And I feel like, especially with people like this that have like these types of viewpoints, I don't see her coming back from this at all. I think she is totally f***ing cooked with this.
She should have given that role to someone who really understands that character and loves that character.
Rachel Zegler didn't just fall from grace. She face-planted from a Hollywood pedestal so high, even her harshest critics didn't expect it to crash this hard. From Disney's Golden Girl to the most booed actress in modern history, all it took was 1 year, a few interviews, and a mountain of missteps. But the biggest shock, the moment she broke down publicly, shaking, crying, mascara running, wasn't met with empathy. It was met with applause, with memes, with laughter. So how did it get this bad? And can anyone actually come back from this kind of public disaster? Let's break it down, piece by piece.
Honestly, girl boss narratives suck. They are either overpowered, poorly written, forced down the audience's throat, and it just looks like I'm staring at TikTok modern women posts that always talk about men are trash, men are this, men are that. They finally got the opportunity to do that, especially with this buffoon right here. I still don't know why she's still alive. And before you start saying I'm sexist, here are some well-written female characters. This woman right here is way better. So is she. And her too. Man, I love this girl, honestly. She couldn't fit in the background, but Debbie is definitely number one.
It was supposed to be a comeback, a carefully staged public appearance. Rachel Zegler, live, speaking to fans, opening up. Her PR team had planned every detail. Pre-screened questions, controlled audience access, and a friendly moderator. All she had to do was smile, stay humble, and ride the sympathy wave. But the moment she walked on stage, the crowd turned.
I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have when I say that this has been the biggest adjustment of my life. Like understanding the way my life operates now, being who I am, and the things that I've been so fortunate to make. It comes with so much ground. So much ground that I never thought I would be able to cover, and that people think I'm doing poorly, and other people think I'm doing gracefully, and I don't think I'm doing it at all.
At first, a few scattered boos, then a wave, then full volume heckling, "Not my Snow White, go back to Broadway." Someone even yelled, "Why are you still here?" Zegler froze, her smile cracked, her hands shook. She stammered out a few words before her voice gave way. And then, the breakdown, on stage, in front of cameras, caught in HD in real time. Tears streamed. Mascara smeared. She turned and rushed off stage. And just like that, number Zegler breakdown was born.
Rachel Zegler is back in the news because her PR team is working overtime right now to fix her image because so many of these resurfaced video clips of her just make her look really, really bad. What matters here is perception. Who she actually is actually has little consequence on any of this. How she's perceived by the world. That's what matters.
Right.
And how she's perceived by the world is not good because she hasn't been able to escape these interview clips, which show a clear disdain for the company she works for, a clear disdain for the story in which she's been hired to help portray and tell. Who she is really has little bearing on any of this. At the end of the day, Disney doesn't care who she really is. I'm sure the people that love her, her friends and family, she's plenty nice to them. That's not what matters here.
What made the moment so viral wasn't just the tears. It was the irony. Rachel Zegler had been cast as the face of Disney's new, modern Snow White, a bold reimagining of a beloved classic. But instead of leaning into the fairy tale magic, she torched it. Publicly, in interview after interview, she dismissed the original film as outdated and creepy, mocked the prince, called the love story problematic. She didn't just play a new Snow White, she rewrote the whole narrative. No prince, no rescue, no waiting around for true love. That messaging didn't just rub Disney fans the wrong way, it infuriated them. The backlash wasn't just about nostalgia, it was about respect. And Zegler, whether she meant to or not, made it clear. She didn't respect the story or the audience.
Yeah, well, we're busy, of course. Vita opens at the Palladium this summer, so we're collaborating with Jamie Lloyd again, following Sunset Boulevard. Well, Rachel was desperate to play Eva Perron. You know, it was her idea, and we saw an audition tape, and she was absolutely sensational. You know, she worked with our musical supervisor in New York on the material. Her versions of the songs were terrific. Jamie's excited, Andrew and Tim are excited. So, I mean, it should make for a fabulous summer at the Palladium. Ticket sales are already, through the roof. So we're really thrilled about that.
Not long ago, she was the industry's favorite new face. Steven Spielberg cast her in West Side Story as a complete unknown, and she killed it. Her performance earned her a Golden Globe. Her voice, powerful. Her presence, magnetic. Hollywood rushed to lock her down. Disney cast her. Broadway embraced her. Fans celebrated her. But instead of keeping her head down and letting her work speak, she started speaking for herself. A lot. Loudly, repeatedly. Her tweets got bolder. Her interviews got spicier. She wasn't just promoting, she was preaching. And then the tone shifted. Confidence turned to arrogance. Passion turned into disdain. Suddenly, Zegler wasn't charming anymore. She was lecturing, correcting, condescending. And for fans who loved the characters and stories she mocked, that was the last straw.
A lot of what you see with Zegler is really just a pretty common Gen Z mentality and approach to work. She believes that she should be able to express herself and speak her truth or whatever nonsense, regardless of the consequences to everybody else. In reality, you have a job. You're getting paid to do this job. You signed on the dotted line. You took on the role. And that job comes with certain basic responsibilities. And one of the most basic is the responsibility to control yourself and comport yourself a certain way publicly so that you don't harm the project, thereby harm all the hundreds of other people who are working on it.
The internet never forgets, but it always exaggerates. Memes exploded. Edits of Zegler calling the prince weird, cut with footage of her crying on stage. TikToks turned her into a cautionary tale. YouTube commentators built entire channels around dissecting her downfall. And then came the hashtags. Not my snow, white Zegler out cancel. Zegler, even girl boss gone wrong. Every time she spoke, someone clipped it, mocked it, repurposed it. Her attempts to explain only made it worse. Instead of clarity, she doubled down. Instead of apologizing, she rationalized. Instead of humility, she defended her truth. And that truth wasn't selling anymore.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still lined up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Then came the insiders, stage managers, crew members, costume designers, choreographers. From Snow White to Evita, rumors poured out. She clashed with co-stars, argued over script rewrites, demanded control over lighting, wardrobe, even camera angles. One producer put it simply, she has talent, yes, but she thinks she's the director, the writer, and the star. Another source claimed she pushed for line changes to better match her values, not the characters, but hers. And this wasn't just diva behavior, this was self-destruction, because in Hollywood, reputation spreads faster than talent ever will.
Girl power. Girl boss, everyone needs to be a strong, independent woman that don't need no man, and everybody is tired of that. Everybody is sick of that, and everybody is ganging up on Rachel. She dealt with some really, really severe backlash, which I can kind of understand, but me personally, I'm not under the impression that she wasn't maybe coached to make this happen, to create some type of a draw for the movie, because this is the narrative that Disney particularly is trying to push.
After the Fan Expo breakdown, something strange started happening. Clips of the event were flagged and removed. Copyright strikes hit accounts that posted it. Comments criticizing Zegler began disappearing from event pages. Fans were confused, then suspicious, then furious, and right on cue. Her team dropped a soft, vague statement, something about artistic vulnerability and overwhelming gratitude. But no one believed it because it didn't feel raw. It felt rehearsed. Multiple insiders even claimed a crisis PR firm had been brought in weeks before the event. The strategy? Create a public meltdown, reframe Zegler as a victim, generate empathy. Instead, it generated resentment because audiences saw through it. As one post put it, she didn't break down, she performed it.
Disney, get your girl. Rachel Zegler is making it very difficult to be excited for the new Snow White movie that's supposed to come out next year. If you are living under a rock, there's been a lot of controversy about the fact that Rachel Zegler is playing Snow White in the film. That's not where my problem comes. I'm all for it. Go for it. But what she's doing in press, and these are interviews that I believe were done before the actors' strike, but of course are now being brought up on the internet. She's basically talking about how much she didn't like the actual original movie, even saying that it scared her, and then talking about how the love story in this isn't really going to be at the forefront, that the prince, yes, has been cast, he's in it, but might be cut, Hollywood, and that the prince in the original film was problematic and was creepy because he was stalking Snow White. I just can't believe that Disney's PR hasn't silenced her on this yet. The live-action movies already have a problem where people are kind of over them and they don't like the changes that are being made from the originals to these. And with this one, we're definitely going to see some change.
And then Disney went silent. No trailers, no press events, no posters, no premiere date. After 2 years of hype, the studio just stopped talking about Snow White. Insiders leaked that test screenings went poorly, that execs were nervous, that marketing budgets had been slashed. Zegler's name had become toxic, not just controversial, but financially risky. And in a post-Marvel flop, post-Lightyear era Disney, risk isn't tolerated. So they did what studios always do when panic sets in. They ghosted their own movie. So now the spotlight's fading, and Rachel Zegler stands at a brutal crossroads. Option 1, go silent. Let the hate fade. Let the internet move on. Option 2, go public again. Not with a script, with sincerity, a raw podcast, a no makeup, no filter conversation. Not about victimhood, but ownership. The public doesn't need her to be perfect. They need her to be real. Admit the ego, admit the tone deafness, admit the disconnect, because that's the one thing no one's seen from her yet. Honest humility. Only then does she stand a chance. Even then. The road is long. Rachel Zegler isn't fighting cancel culture, she's fighting irrelevance. Hollywood builds its stars fast, but buries them even faster. And the moment an audience feels disrespected, dismissed, or lied to, they don't just walk away. They boo. So whether she bounces back or fades for good, that's on her. But one thing's for sure, the cameras are still rolling, the audience is still watching, and the spotlight hasn't burned out. Not yet. If she's gonna survive this, she has to change the script. And for once, not the one in her hand, the one in her head. Subscribe. Because her story's not done. It's just getting darker.